It's the turn of Cristiano Berti that I welcome in Trieste, and the story of Cristiano is also interesting because he's from Turin. Of course, he is an artist, but he graduated in architecture. And also I want to point out that during the 90s he has been working on a mobile unit for health risk reduction among migrant sex workers, and he is still active in the sphere of social inclusion. And from that working unit, he did some reflection, and we will see what is Omoge project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for inviting me to speak about the Omoge. I will try to make it short, but what I want to do is to give a framework to my work, which is exhibited, so there is no need to speak so much about the work itself, but more about the context. As Juliana was saying, this work comes from a personal experience, but just a step behind, and let's talk about Nigerians and Nigeria. Well, Nigerian women came to Italy for the first time in 1987, so it's now a good amount of time that we have this migration of women which are involved in sex work or prostitution. They are all trafficked women, and this was very clear from the beginning. In fact, La tratta delle nigeriane, it is the trafficking of Nigerians, and this is a newspaper of Turin in July 1987. The most important things to know about this phenomena is that mostly all Nigerians came in all these years only from this little town, which is not so little, of course, because we are in Nigeria, but it is not comparable to the big ones. You can see the big ones in the yellow map, while Benin City is just 1.5 million inhabitants, and compared to Lagos is very small. So the first question arises, why all these Nigerians came to Italy from Benin City and not from Lagos, for example? Well, these are the mysteries of trafficking, and nobody has already answered to this question. The other important facts are that this is from the beginning until now, it's a phenomena which involves overall women. I mean women working as sex workers, but also women exploiting them. So the traffickers are other women. Very often women that have had the same experience, that is, that were exploited, and now to their turn they become exploiters. The other thing that is important, at least to give this framework, as I was saying, to my work, is that all these women usually speak their native language, which is Edo, and Omoge is in Edo, but they also speak Pidgin English, which is a mix of English and native languages, a kind of simplified version of English. And this is important because my work has something to do with language also. So these are a couple of images of what was happening in the early 90s, and in a way is still happening. And this is an example of what I was distributing together with my colleagues in the 90s, which means comics with information about HIV prevention and condoms and so on. So this way I came in touch with hundreds of Nigerian girls, and with some of them we had the opportunity to speak a bit more. This was happening overall along a street in Turin, which is called Corso Regina Margherita, and was known as Little Africa, or as in this title, Love Road. And yeah, so Corso Regina was a place where in the 90s you could find also 300 girls in 800 meters of sidewalk. So it was packed of Nigerian women. And what happened was that at the end of the 90s, early 2000, the local police started fining the clients, saying that they couldn't come in this side lane, because in Turin we have a lot of this like kind of French system of the main road and then the two side lanes. So the girl were staying along the side lane and on the side of a big park called Pellerina, which is the name that you can see in this subtitle. And so they started fining. Fine is multa. So you can see 150 multe this time. This was in 1990. They did it for all these years, but then they made it stronger. And in this way, no clients, no girls, of course, which means that the girls just went away, just hundreds of meters only, maybe, but they left this place. So Corso Regina, when I started thinking to work on this story, was already empty. And I did this work by taking 3 photographs, and I also did some maps, which you will see in the exhibition. Knowing that this story was already gone. I mean, there weren't any more Nigerians there. And the 3 photographs are portraying 3 zones of the sidewalk, which were called first, second, and third class. And these were names given by the Nigerian themselves. This is the third class. To share the sidewalk between the prettiest one, which were in the first class, and then there were the other ones that were pretty, yes, but not so young, maybe. And then the third class, this one was the one where the women in their 30s were standing. So this is an example of the maps, which I carved with a plastic material, giving fragments of this story that the Nigerian woman that used to work in Corso Regina recorded for me at the beginning of this work. I decided not to give the complete story, the complete recording together with the photographs and the maps, but to leave this aspect of fragments of history, because of course I was working on the oblivion of these facts. And this is the road taken by a cherry picker. Okay, to be in the mood of the meeting, I can say that it was in a way smuggled, because no permission to go there with the cherry picker. But anyways, overall it shows this idea of emptiness, which I wanted to keep to my work. Okay, these are just data. These are pictures of the first exhibition we did in Turin when there were the Olympic Games, the Winter Olympic Games, and this was not a casual choice, because we wanted, with the gallerists, to fight this kind of idea of Turin as a clean town, because I suspect that the local police was so strong in fighting against prostitution, because this is one of the main roads to reach the town, and of course with a so international event coming, it wasn't a good idea to show to all of the world that there were hundreds of African women half naked selling themselves in Turin. So against this kind of political need, the only thing that we could do, me and my galleries, was to make the exhibition right in the same moment. And it was also, in a way, taken as a news from some media. Okay, so I just want to add something about the background of this work, because this was not the first time I was working on this issue of sex work. The first time was 4 years before, when I worked on this work called Memorial, which was about the killing of sex workers in Turin. This is the one of the newspapers I checked at that time, but of course these are Nigerians, but other victims were from other countries, including Italy. And well, this I'm coming to the conclusion. Is something that I discovered just 1 year ago. That is that this story about first, second, third class wasn't just something that I was getting from a witness and saving from oblivion alone, because there was a Nigerian author that writing a novel told about this story. He wrote the novel a few years after my work, but of course there is no relation between my work and his book, because he had kind of direct access to information, because he was living in Turin in the 90s. So the book was published in Nigeria. A friend told me about this, and so I found out that, yeah, there was this part where he was really talking about the first class, second class, third class. The title of the work, and I come to the language, I forgot a bit, is Omoge, because the third class was also having this African name, Omoge. And this was the thing that was fascinating me more, that is thinking that in my town there was a corner where there was an African name without the other people knowing it. And so when the woman explained me the meaning of this African name of the third class, I decided to give it as a title for the complete work. Omoge is in Edo, and Iye means mommy, mother, and Omoge, beautiful. So the possibilities to read these two words together are a old woman that is behaving as if he is young, or the mother of a beautiful woman or a beautiful girl. So it was clearly a name given by the girls in the first class, that is the younger one, to the older one, saying you can't be as us, we can't be so pretty, so young as us. You could be our mothers, or you are anyway old women that try to be attractive while you are not. Of course, old women for the African, references, because they were just in their 30s. Yeah, okay. Okay, if you have any question, of course.